house was always a beauty, but she is looking mighty fine tonight. Oh, forgive me, folks. I'm Dr. Victor Finck. Folks always call me Doc, so you can too. This used to be my home, and it's good to see her looking so pretty. It's also good to see my stables are still out back, as well as my old two-seater outhouse. Bet there's not another one in town like her. My wife, Miss Sophie, and I lived here for a number of years, and we loved it. My wife also loved to raise cats, so if you ever needed a kitten for a pet, Miss Sophie was the one to see. No charge, mind you, just the promise of a good home and lots of love. Folks, Will Rogers once said he never met a man he didn't like. Well, I never met an animal I didn't like, so when it came time for me to start thinking about what I wanted to do in life, I knew I wanted to be a veterinarian. Ma'am, you know what a veterinarian is?
No, sir.
An animal doctor, not like those pet doctors they have today. I'll bet some of them would probably faint at the sight of a stallion in pain. Folks, I went to the Chicago Veterinary School, and I graduated valedictorian of my class. I stayed there for several years to teach, and then I decided I wanted to go into private practice. So I wrote several letters to different towns, and what I found out about Elizabeth City I liked. So I came here. In those days, people still depended on animals for their livelihood. Mostly farmers lived in this area, and they all seemed to have animals of some kind. You know, like goats, cows, hogs, horses, or hunting dogs. And the health of those animals was just as important to the farmer as it was to his family. In fact, maybe even more so. Folks, I came here.
Your office.
Huh?
You open up the office.
Yeah. Folks, shucks.
You can't start over just.
I know, I'm trying to think of it.
It's the health of the time. I opened up my first office.
Hey, open up my first, maybe you're right. Oh, maybe you're right. Open up my first place of business on Pool Street. It wasn't long before I had several horses and some other animals that people had given me to heal or to keep.
It's the keep on, George, the bear cub.
I'm just too nervous right now. Sorry.
Oh, you're doing so.
You're doing
You're
great.
doing great.
Great.
You're doing great.
You got your bank. Yeah. Yes.
In fact, one time, is it on, I guess? In fact, one time, go ahead and talk.
You
You
put it
want
on.
to talk?
Oh, it's okay. It's it's good.
In fact, one time I even raised a cute little bear cub that a man from Old Trap gave me. He was a. The funny thing is, I went around in different houses, got a thing. I come right here with the camera, and this
different
little,
people.
you know, it's.
Well, you
Each
know
man.
what, it'll be different Friday night,
Each
it's gonna
time
be
you do it, it's
strange
different.
people.
Yeah.
And we're all people you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
that's harder, I think.
Just
Yeah.
start with that. I opened up
Although
an
I've got
office
a
on
page
Pool
that long to
Street.
do, I don't know if I'll get through it like
You
this.
know it. Just don't be nervous.
Easy for you to.
Harriet is nervous enough for both of
Oh, I
you.
was all ready for the farrier part this time. Where does that come in?
I opened up my first office.
I opened up my first business on Pool Street. It wasn't long before I had several horses and some other animals that people had given me to cure or to keep. One time I even raised a cute little baby bear that a guy from Old Trap gave me. He looked like a little teddy bear, so I named him Teddy. And I imagine Teddy went through life always thinking that I must have been his real mama. Next door to me was a farrier named Ed Stokes. Any of you know what a farrier is?
A blacksmith, I
Hey,
learned
that's
this morning.
good, that's
All
good.
right.
Ed was a tiny man, but he was as brave as a bull. He had to be to shoot some of those stallions that came through there. And speaking of horses, I love them. I started riding when I was a boy in Minnesota, and I always had a special way with them. You know, like that Horse Whisperer movie? In fact, I never saw a horse so wild that I couldn't calm him right down if I needed to, and ride him if I wanted to. Folks, I used to be a trick rider and a trick roper. Whoops. And my trick horse's name was Queen. And to do some of the things that Queen and I used to do, you either had to be brave or crazy. You know, such as that Russian cosset where you rode under the belly of a horse going full gallop. Folks, that one would get the old heart pumping. I used to perform at the rodeo and at the racetrack, and I used to do my practicing on Pritchett Street. In those days, Pritchett Street was dirt, and I used to enjoy racing Queen down the street, and all of a sudden, rearing up on her hind legs. The kids just loved it. And speaking of kids, I used to, speaking of kids, they used to hang around my stables. So I used to take them on calls with me, or let them clean the stalls, or whatever. But the thing they liked most to do was to polish my beautiful silver parade saddle. Folks, I used to ride.
Black Beauty. Black Beauty.
Black Beauty, right. I used to ride no, that wasn't it. I rode Black Beauty in all the parades. And the last time the Buffalo Bill Show came to town, I rode with them. Let's see, boy, I'll be glad to get through this thing. I rode with them.
It wasn't that much to speak of. Everybody said you
Well,
were
everyone said I was better than the rest of them, but it really wasn't that much to speak of. Well, that show wasn't that, but shucks, that show wasn't that much to speak of by then. After my wife died, I ran into some bad times. I lost this house. Lightning struck some of my horses. So I just left town. Eventually I came back and opened up my business about where Ward and Son is today. Folks, one of the things I really enjoyed doing was going down to Cartwright's Bakery on Fearing Street. Now, not so much for the sweets as a kid around with Miss Ann and her daughter Eileen. And can you believe that I talked Miss Ann into marrying me? I think she must have felt sorry for me. Whatever. We had some really happy years together before I died in 1970. All in all, I suppose I had a right exciting life. Well, I guess I better go now. I want to see my stables again, and I just might want to use that old. What's that?
two-seater.
And I just might want to use it. And I just might want to use that old two-seater outhouse just one more time.